Today's posting is sponsored in part by patrons Beely V, Bo, Beefcake, Boxy, Bradley Taylor, Kobe Rush, Crow T Robot, Emperor Tromidlob Drolmai, Karma 5003, Phelan, Silky Wilkie, Talamar Von Geist, and last but not least, Troper's 10 Different Identities. Thank you all very much, and enjoy the show. Sack my balls. Comic Sans Mogus. Alright, so people either need to sacrifice or they take 2 damage. What the f is Invader Parasite? Exile target land. When a land with the same name enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, Invader Parasite deals 2 damage to that player. I can exile a forest? You're telling me for 5 mana, I can not only cause deforestation, but I can deal 2 damage every time they play a forest. The game state is advancing in every single way except land ownership. When I talk about being able to play your goddamn commander, this is what I'm talking about. The fact that power balance is in here as protection is the most optimistic shit. Power balance under the protection section is we've never skinned our knees, we've never missed the bus to school, ice cream has never melted onto our hands, nothing bad has happened in this world. Painted Aether is God's just response to all token deck players. I think the thing I overlooked most was the capability of just, play Devotion and turn Mogus into a 7/5. And so I think with that in mind, you are inexorably guiding the table towards the necessary game state of people are dead, you don't have 15 lands to take a 10-minute turn yet. You keep them in very ethical range between 5 and 10 lands to work with, but you do not have those everybody has a million mana, now we have analysis paralysis and nobody knows what the f they're doing. Each player separates all land cards he or she controls into 2 face-up top piles for each player. An opponent chooses a pile, destroy all lands in that pile, tap all lands in the other immediately. We got to get that up in there. We got to get Bend or Break up in there. I do think this needs Volcanic Awakening. I am partial to this deck requiring an awakening of a volcanic nature. I hate on the black Bend 3, draw 2 type things a lot, but I do think it would be useful to you. Or even Rowan's Grim. You can't sack a land for this, unfortunately, but Rowan's Grim Search and Read the Bones would probably be more helpful even at 35 because your curve is not that steep. So we've got a million X cost things. So Burgi is one of the pieces. We're doing Storm, but bad on purpose because Red Storm already exists. It just already does. And then we're using Bridge from Below. The ideal turn, or the setup we need is we Burgi, we cast Glimpse of Nature, we have Bridge from Below out, and then, we cast everything, draw everything. We loot the bridge away or skip a land drop, discard to hand size, and then we play Burgi. I do think we pray to God. We pray hard that we have Burgi, Lotus Petal, and some of this. And if you're playing it because you like the looks on people's faces when it does work, that is assuredly why it is modern art. And it makes it hard to fix because I think the engine, 1 copy of Grape Shot, 26 ways to draw. Well, really 30 because we can just flashback Faithless Looting with all the mana we poop out. This deck just seems like you lose. It feels like you lose to yourself rather than losing to anybody else. I don't know if Thrill of Possibility is the best version of this, but you could do 2 sets of Thrill of Possibility, 2 sets of Seething Song. It's hard to improve an engine that was clearly designed by a fucking maniac. Vexing Bauble saves you against Force of Will, it saves you against Grief, or as long as they don't try to do it. Maybe they don't have it on turn 1. So I would drop your bridges, and I'm not sure if I would do 4 copies of Vexing Bauble, but I think between Vexing Bauble, Rite of Flame, and Faithless Salvaging, I think between those 3 cards, any combination is better than 4 of Bridge from Below, in my pseudo-professional opinion. I do think this is a silly deck. I think this is a silly thing you have made. I believe you when you say turn 1 win, turn 2 win, turn 3 give up all hope, ye who enter here. If you want to win more, just switch to Blue-Black Reanimator. So Hinata, cost reduction per target, Dockside Extortionist, Iron Mirror, Ulamog the Defiant. What the fuck is going on with this deck? They sold this to me as haha, Hinata goes on a crime spree, and we are just passing an all-time Hall of Fame Jeskai salt list. And then just in case none of this works, Ulamog is gonna smack you square in the gooch. What the f is Soul Artifact doing in here? In the midst of all of this bullshit, why do we have a goddamn let's just get a 5/5? I think the thing that went up on the vision board was Spree, and the thing that came off the vision board was first 40 feet of copper wire stolen from the nearest manufacturing plant. But you do not have a whole lot of draw, and you have multiple pieces that need to come together exactly right to start doing the thing you want to do, which is ideally copying all these spree spells. This is what I'm looking at right now. These are the hopes and dreams of doing the silly spree deck, and I think it's very fixable because you already have half of just a different fucking deck going on here. And so I would go back to the vision board and adjust, because you shored it up with strong and maybe not respectable, but responsible cards. Yeah, like there's something here, and that something may just be Ulamog ready to punch you. But right now, Thunder Junction is so limited in terms of spree cards that you're trying to cook with like a pan, a bag of dry macaroni, and a little bit of crack. 31 lands, but the only zombie is going to be your carcass after you have waited at that commander table for 30 fucking years trying to find the lands to play your commander because you've got 31. 6. Yeah, we have 6 mana rocks. The rest are conditional, and I saw that was the same thing with your card draw list. Drivnod is excellent here. Taste is excellent here. So this is probably where I will recommend you cut things from for lands, and more than lands for card draw. Hand of Vecna goes immediately. I refuse to believe you get to have enough cards in your hand to make this be as meaty as you might think it is. Like Flowering of the White Tree is just all right as heck. That's what I would replace with things like Deadly Dispute, because being able to dictate when you are sacrificing something is necessary in this deck. And so you want Deadly Dispute, you want Reckoner's Bargain, you like things that say as an additional cost, sacrifice something. So Bankrupt in Blood, Altar's Reap, and you especially love things that say as an additional cost, sacrifice something, and then give me cards. Because right now it looks like outside of a very small number of cards, you actually setting off Ratatouille up here is dictated by your opponents rather than by you, and that is always a really bad spot to be in. Countering makes me feel good. You have an expensive commander, and we are relying on it being hexproof, it getting vigilance, and it swinging. How's it going down there is the funniest goddamn thing ever. The main way we are protecting this guy is by giving him vigilance, which the deck does not seem to be doing very much of. I also don't like Warden of Evos Isle because the only creature you really care about with this is your commander. A mana rock is better than this because you have other things that you can, because it's going to let you cast all of your other artifact stuff or enchantment stuff or instant stuff. You were trying to nickel and dime people that have wallets that are the size of our houses. And so asking them to get through one Tithe effect is not very much, and you do not seem like you have a reliable way to make them fight through all of these Tithe effects at the same time. And so I would just focus on things that f them up. This is Psych Rift, but everybody at the table instantly loves you, because there's always somebody that needs to get Psych Rift. But when you Psych Rift, everybody goes, now you're the bad guy, because you are the only person with a board state that still exists. River's Rebuke is like, hey, would you guys like it if I just dealt with the problematic player right now? Would you like it if we sent them back to the Stone Age and then hit them with hammers? I can do that. More board wipes and bounce, specifically anything you can make one-sided, because if you go all board wipes, you want to create as few conditions necessary for your victory as possible. And right now your conditions, if you use a board wipe, you have a condition of my commander needs to be indestructible. I need to have drawn one of the ways to make them indestructible. Raise the Palisade, unconditional. Whether or not you have your commander out, this is going to work to set your opponent's back. And if you have your commander out, you can pick Elder Dragon. And if anybody else has an Elder Dragon on the field, good on them. I hope you're having a good week. And remember to stay toxic.